Hi and welcome to the Crafty Co. This is a tutorial for a crochet coaster. It is created with 5 rounds. Each of the rounds consists of a variation of a granny stitch. In the 5th round, we will do a scalloped edge to finish it off so that it looks like a flower. Here's what you need. You'll need yarn. I've used cotton yarn. If you are a beginner, you could make one using acrylic, which is a little bit more forgiving. This one is an Aran weight cotton. A crochet hook. I've gone down a hook size for this, 3.5mm, a pair of scissors, a wool darning needle, and a stitch marker. First of all, find the end of the yarn. I like to pull mine out of the centre of the ball. The end is called the tail. The yarn that's coming out from the ball is called the working yarn. It's a good idea to pull some yarn out. Never have it coming directly from the ball, as that pulls on your tension and we want a nice even tension. Take the tail and place it over your hand. Now we're going to be starting with a magic ring here. Make sure that you leave the tail long enough so that we can sew the end in, and then wrap the yarn around your fingers twice. Fold your fingers up and then tuck the working yarn, remember that's the one coming from the ball, underneath those 2 strands. Create a loop and then insert the hook into the loop and work a chain 1, yarn over and pull the loop on the hook over. This will secure the ring as we are working into it. We're working trebles in this first round, and usually we would do a chain 3 to get to the height of a treble, but I have a neat little trick here that will hide that chain 3. Move the tail out of the way and pull up a loop. Mine was about 1/2 inch, but it will depend on the yarn and needle that you're using. Hold the top of the loop really tight with your finger and wrap the loop behind the crochet hook. Insert the hook into the magic ring, yarn over and pull through. We have 3 loops on the hook, but one of them has been twisted and we're holding on to the end of it really tight. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Use your finger to help those loops over the end of the hook. Then you can release your finger and let go. Yarn over and pull through the remaining 2 loops. We've now created a stitch that looks like a treble stitch. If you are new to this technique, it's a good idea to insert a stitch marker in the top. This helps to find that top of the stitch when we come to close the round. In this round, we will work a total of 12 trebles into the magic ring. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2 loops. We've now created the second treble. Yarn over, insert hook into magic ring, yarn over and pull through. I'm pulling against the magic ring here so that I can keep my stitches nice and even. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's the third treble completed. 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over, insert hook into magic ring, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Work a total of 12 trebles into the magic ring, and don't forget that the first one that we created from a loop counts as the treble. If you're unsure how many you've worked, you can count the V's. Each of these V's represent a stitch. Or you can count the little holes that are above the top of the treble. I prefer to do that as I find it easier, and each of these holes again represents one stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the 12th one is where my stitch marker is. I like to close my round before I pour my magic ring in. Take the stitch marker out, but keep an eye where that hole is. Insert the hook into the hole where the stitch marker was. Yarn over hook and pull the hook through both of those loops. And that is a slip stitch and has closed the round. I'm now going to close the magic ring, but as I wound the yarn around my hand twice, I'm going to do it in a certain sequence. Pull the slip stitch, make it really big, and then you can remove the crochet hook without the fear of it unravelling. The next thing is take hold of the tail and pull it gently. You'll see that one of the strands in the centre starts moving, and this is the strand you want to grab hold of. Pull this strand and you will see the centre will start to close. Once you've pulled that tight, grab hold of the tail again, pull it so that it closes the centre up, and it's really neat. The tail is at the front at the moment, and when I sew this end in, I'm going to push it through to the back so that I can tie it off at the back so that it's really neat. It's a good idea to tie off all your ends on the back of any work so that it won't show. Reduce the size of that slip knot, insert your hook, and we can get going on round 2. In this round, we're going to be working twice in the same stitch. The loop is coming from this stitch, so we're going to be working in there twice. Pull a loop up. Again, mine is about 1/2 inch. Grab hold of the top and take that loop over the back of the crochet hook and insert into the same stitch, yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2 and release. We're going to stop there and work another stitch into that same space. Yarn over, insert hook into the same, yarn over and pull through, but this time we have 4 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through 2, and we're left with 3, and then yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches. What's happened here is instead of having 2 trebles with 2 stitches at the top, we're left with 2 trebles, but we only have 1 stitch at the top. Insert a stitch marker into that space. As there is only 1 stitch at the top, we want to do a chain one. This creates a space where we'll be able to work the next round stitches in. We're going to do exactly the same again, but this time we're already at the height we need, so we don't need to do that stitch that we did at the beginning. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, but don't finish the stitch off. Yarn over, insert back into the same stitch, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through all 3 stitches on the hook. Again, we've only got 1 stitch at the top of those 2 stitches, and we chain 1. If we didn't do the chain 1, our work would just keep going up in a cylinder, and we want it to lay flat. Repeat this for the remainder of the round. You will have 12 sets of these 2 stitches. Work the rest of the round, and I will see you back at the stitch marker. I have completed 11 sets of stitches, so I'm going to do the final one and then join the round. Don't forget to chain 1, as that will create the space for the next round of stitches, and slip stitch the round closed in the stitch where the stitch marker was. The stitches in the next round are worked in the chain 1 space from round 2. Slip stitch over to the space on the left. This gets the stitch in the centre of that chain 1 space. Pull up a loop, grab hold of the top of the loop, wrap the loop around the back of the hook, insert into the chain 1 space, yarn over and pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, release those stitches and yarn over, pull through 2. That's the first stitch complete. And insert a stitch marker in the top of that stitch. We're now going to work a further 2 trebles into the same space. Yarn over, insert hook into the same space, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Work 1 more treble into that same space. There are now a total of 3 stitches in that 1 chain space. Locate the next 1 chain space and work 3 trebles into that space too. Repeat the sequence of 3 treble in each of the 1 chain spaces. You may need to pull the stitches apart to locate it. Continue working 3 trebles in each of the 1 chain spaces from the previous round. And I'll meet you back at the stitch marker. Close the round with a slip stitch in the space where the stitch marker is. Slip stitch over to the space on the left. I like to slip stitch in the back loop only. Once you get to that space, pull up the loop, grab hold of the top of it, take it round the back of the hook and insert into that space. Yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, release the loops and yarn over, pull through both loops. Work a treble into the same space. Chain 1 and work 2 more trebles back into that same space. You'll have 2 trebles, a chain 1 and 2 trebles all in that one space. And what that does, it creates a little space in the centre with that one chain where we're going to work stitches in the next round. Repeat the sequence all the way around. Into the next space, work 2 treble, chain 1 and 2 treble. Don't worry if the edge looks slightly wavy. That's because we've done a 1 chain in between of those 2 trebles to create a little bit of space. Continue the sequence all the way round, working 2 treble, chain 1, 2 treble in each of the spaces between the sets of trebles. Close the round with a slip stitch in the top of that first treble. In the final round, we're going to create a scalloped edge. The stitches are worked in the chain 1 space between the 2 trebles. A slip stitch is worked in between the stitches. We don't need to do anything to start this round off, as we have a slip stitch in that space already. Locate the chain 1 space between the 2 sets of trebles and work 5 treble in this same space. As the round was started with a slip stitch, it will naturally pull the first treble downwards, and that will create the first half of the curve. Once you have worked 5 trebles into that same space, pull the other side of the curve down by working a slip stitch into the next space. The first scallop has been created. As we have just done a slip stitch, we work a treble into the center space between the trebles in that 1 chain space, and again working a total of 5 to create the next scallop. Slip stitch into the next space, and the second scallop is complete. Continue around working 5 trebles in the one chain space and slip stitches in between, then 5 treble, then slip stitch to create the scallops. To close the round, work the slip stitch into the first space. Pull out the loop, remove the hook and cut the yarn. Pull the loop and pull the yarn through and pull it tight. Sew the ends in with a darning needle. I like to sew the ends at the back. Turn the coaster over and thread the needle through one of the stitches at the back. This keeps it away from the edge and makes it much neater. Pick up a couple of stitches now, yarn around the needle and pull through to form a knot. To thread the end in, you want to find a nice dense area. This will hide the tails and it will stop the end showing. Thread them behind the stitches, but making sure that you don't come out the other side. So you're trying to go in between the stitches here. I like to thread them 3 times. So I go through once and then take them back again. When you do this, make sure that you don't go in exactly the same place as you came from, otherwise it's going to unravel. Move a stitch away and thread them once, twice, then 3 times, and on the 3rd time it will be secure enough for you to snip the end off. I did exactly the same for the magic ring in the centre, but I made sure that I threaded the yarn through to the back of the coaster before I weaved the ends in. And there's your coaster complete.